Today, we're going to deconstruct one of the most ambitious national projects happening anywhere on the planet right now. We're talking about the UAE's mandate to make its government 100% digital by 2025. It's a fascinating story about tech, policy, and how a brand new market gets created. All right, let's dive in. So this statement right here, it's really the core of everything we're going to talk about. And you got to understand, this is not a suggestion. It's not some far-off goal. It is a binding national mandate, a deadline that is completely reshaping how government works and, just as importantly, how businesses work with it. So what does this mandate actually demand? Well, it really rests on a few core pillars. The first one is simple, but it's monumental. A government that is 100% digital, and they mean no exceptions. Every single service, whether it's renewing a driver's license or registering a new company, it all has to be fully online. But, just being digital isn't really the point. And that brings us to the second pillar, achieving a 90% citizen satisfaction rating. So this means that digital services can't just exist. They have to be brilliant. They have to create an experience that's totally seamless. It's all about performance for the citizen, not just having a digital presence. And the third key principle is maybe the most forward-thinking of them all, resilience by design. Now, this isn't just about having backups. It means building the systems from the ground up, expecting disruptions and being able to withstand them. It's about making sure government services stay on, no matter what's happening in the outside world. Okay, so to really unpack all of this, we're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll start with the mandate itself, then we'll look at the hyper-automation engine that's driving it all. After that, we'll see how resilience has become policy, check out the GovTech gold rush that's resulted, and finally, we'll take a peek beyond 2025 to see what's next. So let's kick things off with the mandate. What the UAE has done here is, well, it's effectively turned digitization from a technology choice into a regulated obligation. And that single decision has created one of the most structured, most predictable business-to-government markets you'll find anywhere. What's really striking here is just how clear they are. There is zero ambiguity. The blueprint is uncompromising. It literally calls for the total elimination of the old ways of doing things. Every paper trail, every manual signature, every time you'd have to show up in person, all of it has to be gone by 2025. So how in the world do you pull off such a radical change on a national scale? You definitely can't just hire more people. The answer lies in the core technology that's driving this whole transformation, what they call the hyper-automation engine. Hyper-automation, that's the key term. And it's not just your basic automation. Think of it as a sophisticated mix of artificial intelligence, really advanced workflow automation, and a resilient cloud infrastructure. It's this combination that lets the government automate these incredibly complex processes that have to run across multiple ministries at once. Let's break that down a little more. At big industry events like the GovTech Conclave, you hear about 3 key tech enablers over and over. First, you've got workflow AI and something called RPA to handle all the high-volume repetitive tasks. Second, a super secure cloud infrastructure to manage data across the whole country. And third, data intelligence to actually connect the dots between all these different agencies. And this really gets to the bigger picture. The UA isn't just out there buying software. It's building an entirely new form of national infrastructure. These are digital government backbones, but they're built out of code and analytics, not concrete and steel. Okay, let's move on to our third section and see how this all builds towards a new philosophy of governance. Here, resilience isn't just a nice feature to have. It's a core policy. It's shifting the entire model from reacting to problems to predicting them. And the crucial point here is this. These systems are being designed with the assumption that disruptions are going to happen. So the goal is to build platforms that can anticipate these events and guarantee that essential services just keep running smoothly. This proactive approach is now a key requirement in all government contracts. This quote really captures the mood in the market perfectly. Look, innovation is always welcome, but the number one demand from the government is for executional reliability. They need systems that just work flawlessly all the time, especially when they're under stress. It's all about delivering stability at a massive scale. So this intense focus on reliability plus that hard 2025 deadline has created what a lot of people are calling a GovTech gold rush. And the biggest opportunity for tech vendors? It's in solving what is by far the single biggest challenge of digital government, integration. So, what is that hardest part? It's not building a pretty website or a new app. The really hard part is making dozens of separate government ministries and agencies, all of which have been in their own silos for decades, talk to each other, share data securely, and act like a single unified government. And that's exactly where the real opportunity is. The big contracts are going to the companies that can provide integrated platforms that unify all the citizen data, tools that help agencies actually collaborate, and cybersecurity that builds trust into every single click. If you can solve the integration problem, you can win in this market. Now, to put this all in perspective, take a look at this table. It compares the UAE strategy to similar, really impressive programs in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. But the key differentiator for the UAE is that its mandate is strictly time-bound, and it's based on measurable goals. For a business, that makes it the most commercially actionable and predictable GovTech market in the entire region. Finally, let's look past the 2025 deadline for a moment. Once this incredible digital infrastructure is all in place, what does the government do with it? Well, the vision shifts from just being digital to being intelligent. You see, 2025 isn't the finish line. It's really the starting block for the next phase, which is all about service intelligence. The ultimate goal is to use this powerful new infrastructure to predict what citizens need before they even have to ask for it, moving from on-demand services to truly proactive governance. And this brings us to a final and I think pretty provocative thought. The ultimate goal of this entire transformation is to create a government that's so efficient, so integrated, and so seamless that it just fades into the background of your daily life. So the question we're left with is, when government finally works perfectly, will we even notice it's there?